Revelation 17. Sure, we've destroyed the whole world at this point. The Great Tribulation is over. But you know what we haven't seen? A drunken harlot. Lucky for you, that's this whole chapter. One of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute who sits by many waters. With her, the kings of the earth committed adultery, and the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries." The kings all slept with the same woman? And everyone on earth was intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries? First of all, I hope she got paid for all that work. That could not have been easy. Second, how would everyone on earth be intoxicated by it? Because how would they even know about it? Were these sessions live streamed? Did scribes write up the proceedings and publish them before the printing press? Did rumors travel on horseback? And why are we punishing someone who brought all these kings pleasure without at least punishing the men? This is just slut-shaming for no apparent reason. I suppose I should tell you Babylon, in this case, is a metaphor for a religious city that doesn't worship God the right way. When the kings commit adultery, it's because they're politically corrupt and idolatrous, you see. But it's telling that we are just using a generic description of a woman to describe how horrible this city was. Then the angel carried me away in the spirit into a wilderness. There, I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and was glittering with gold, precious stones, and pearls. She held a golden cup in her hand filled with abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. The name written on her forehead was a mystery. Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and of the abominations of the earth. This woman is just minding her own business with her pet Antichrist beast, who has 7 heads because no one in this book has a normal pet, and she's just enjoying her mug of male tears, and Johnny the narrator only seems to care about all the words written on her forehead, which is apparently very large. Who is she, you ask? Well, you can't miss her. I feel like if you have mother of prostitutes written on your forehead by these people, you should wear that like a badge of honor and not like a scarlet letter. Maybe she's the one calling herself Babylon the Great, in which case, good for Babylon. Even if we treat Babylon like a city, perhaps the Roman Empire with its pagan ways, it still sounds like they are blaming one woman for everything, which is absolutely a thing Christians would do. I saw that the woman was drunk with the blood of God's holy people, the blood of those who bore testimony to Jesus. When I saw her, I was greatly astonished. Then the angel said to me, "Why are you astonished? I will explain to you the mystery of the woman and of the beast she rides, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast which you saw once was, now is not, and yet will come up out of the abyss and go to its destruction. The inhabitants of the earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life from the creation of the world, will be astonished when they see the beast, because it once was, now is not, and yet will come." These people seriously need to work on their grammar and names and descriptions, because it is very confusing. Anyway, he says the woman was drunk with blood, but again, someone tell me what she did wrong that doesn't also implicate the supposed men of God. You can't demonize her while letting all the men off the hook. I also want to know if this was consensual. The Bible doesn't care about any of this. This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits. They are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, One is, the other has not yet come. But when he does come, he must remain for only a little while. The beast who once was, and now is not, is an eighth king. He belongs to the seven and is going to his destruction. This is so weird. Okay, there are 7 heads on the beast, and those represent 7 hills, which might symbolize the famous 7 hills of Rome. Those hills may represent 7 kings, one of whom isn't a king yet, but he'll be a king for a very short time, and the beast itself is king number 8, and that beast is a hot mess. If we're playing history here, 5 have fallen likely refers to the Egyptian, Assyrian, Babylonian, Media-Persian, and Greek empires. The 1 is refers to Rome. The not yet come refers to the Antichrist's empire. The 10 horns you saw are 10 kings who have not yet received a kingdom, but who, for 1 hour, will receive authority as kings along with the beast. They have one purpose, and will give their power and authority to the beast. They will wage war against the Lamb, but the Lamb will triumph over them because he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and with him will be his called, chosen, and faithful followers. How can you be a king without a kingdom? Without a kingdom, you're not a king. That's dumb. I am amused by the idea of the kings getting to be king for just an hour before the beast takes over. What an emotional roller coaster that has to be. That's like William Henry Harrison becoming president. Yeah, that's right, a Harrison reference. Bet you didn't see that coming. Also, you think 10 kings are gonna have one unified purpose? What utopian world is this where world leaders all agree on the path forward? Then the angel said to me, "The waters you saw, where the prostitute sits, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and languages. The beast and the 10 horns you saw will hate the prostitute. They will bring her to ruin and leave her naked. They will eat her flesh and burn her with fire. For God has put it into their hearts to accomplish his purpose by agreeing to hand over to the beast their royal authority, until God's words are fulfilled. The woman you saw is the great city that rules over the kings of the earth." Do you realize that we've seen God and his allies kill off the planet and destroy stars and turn rivers into blood? But we're killing off the prostitute because reasons. Also, they're gonna eat her flesh and burn her, in that order, which seems backwards. You would think the beast and the harlot would be good friends, given that they have a common enemy, but no, she was standing in the beast's way. We are currently in the middle of the tribulation. We are 3.5 years into it. Now, it's time for the Antichrist to rise, without any competition. Did we just have an entire chapter dedicated to punishing a woman while the men who are responsible for sowing chaos receive no consequences? Because that is what I am seeing here. I'm not sure what the moral lesson is supposed to be, but it sure sounds like this woman took down the monarchy until the Antichrist had to bring along an entire army to take her down.